Yeah, and welcome to Papastache 102. So major pentatonic. For us minor pentatonic players, it's mysterious. It's uncharted waters, and our freaking riffs don't work the same. That sucks. But we're going to change all that today, and we're going to do it by showing you how to see the chord shapes so you know how to tailor your riffs and use the scale differently to get the good notes. Now there's a more in-depth lesson on that down below, but this will get you started. Check it out. Down below there's a 1-4-5 blues lesson that shows this stuff in detail, and it's in the description box down below. So if you want a fully detailed part 2, check that one out. As for this one, we're going to go over an A, an E, and a D chord and show you how to tailor your riffs around those. Real basic. We're just going to use the A major pentatonic scale. So let's zoom in for a closer look and learn some riffs. All right. And yes, that's Foo Fighters. There goes my hero in the background. My band brothers are tearing it up back there. Loud tonight. All right, so major pentatonic can be an intimidating thing because it doesn't quite work like our minor pentatonic licks. So, keeping in line with every other pentatonic lick video I do, just about, we're going to do it in A. Okay, so a major pentatonic, position 1 is right there on the 2nd and 5th frets, and you know the shape, right? If you don't, look up the shape for major pentatonic, position 1, A major. Okay? So, the trick is, when we're learning riffs, simple as they may be, they gotta hit notes out of the chord. Other than that, they're just gonna sound like licks and not have really anything to grab you or any context to the music. It's just a scale without, without any real purpose, okay? So the scale is our roadmap, but the notes and the chords and the notes we resolve to is what actually makes the music. So, if we keep in mind, and all these riffs are A chords right here, okay? We got an E, we got our A note right here, we got the 3rd of the chord, which is the note that makes it major or minor. All super important notes. So, let's riff around those. So, right, it resolves right back to A. So, let's take that. We're actually borrowing from 2 positions, but we'll keep the riff basic, and we're coming back to this A chord. But what we did in that riff is we actually hit the notes from 2 different A chords. And let me show you. So we take the 3rd finger and slide, right? One of the notes from our A chord, slide up to the 4th fret of the D, land on another note, the A note, right? So that's going to work because we're in A major. So we got. Now what we're going to do is we're going to go and we're going to grab this note right here, okay? And we're going to slide up to major pentatonic position 2. Okay, but what we just did was we slid into that A chord, or right here. So it totally works because we're totally hitting notes right out of the chord. So we got. And we're just going to go back the way we came and watch. We're going to resolve to the A. So we went back to 2 and 4 on the D, hammered on, and then right back to our A note. So we got. Now as you add vibrato, right, it starts to take on a little bit more, musicality. starts to sound a little bit, you know, like something legit. Keep in mind, right? When you slide up there, maybe see if you can get both those notes to ring out with a little vibrato on it, right? Now, that's great, right? Over the A chord. What if we change chords and say we add an E and a D? Okay? So, we want to keep the same thing within all of these scale positions in the pentatonic positions, those chords. Every one of those chords and the chord's notes are in there somewhere. So we got an A. Now watch this when we go to E. Now we have an E here, right? So we can use right inside of our pentatonic. But we also have an E chord right here, which is that D shape. So that same kind of thinking would work. So we can almost do that same riff, but now we're just targeting an E note. So we slid up, right? We hit our E note right here. So we got, we're covered. We're coming back to another note of our E. We're hitting another note there. And then, so we got, right now I added some other notes, but you can, okay, so we got, we could just keep it right there. So I slid up, same slide. If we went to D, okay, we can look for the D chord here, right, and borrow from the actual major. And hit that note right out of the D chord. We got, right, that's one of the notes. Right, there's another one. So we can go. Now we want to lead back into the A. Right, so right, so if we go through the whole chord progression, okay, so now you're starting to see, or hopefully starting to see, why that sounds a little more musical. We're using the scale. We haven't done anything, you know, out of the scale, unless you want to use over the D. Right? That note right there, bending that note up here, bends up to the third of our chord right here. So that's going to sound great too. That's why this Southern rock style lick works. Because you're bending this note to the third, and you're also hitting that note right there, which is part of that chord up here. My guitar's a little out of tune, but it's rock and roll, baby! So, hopefully you're starting to see, oh my gosh, right? There's a scale, but it's the chords inside that scale that really matters. That's what makes the music, is hitting those chord tones, right? The licks can be whatever we want. Right, so check that out. I mean, that's just 1 and 2, positions 1 and 2. So check that out. Try A major, positions 1 and 2. Let those strings drone over your riffs, you know, your A, your E, and your D, and see if you can target those different chord shapes, A, E, D, in your riffs, and tailor your riffs to hit those target notes, which is where the music's at. Yes! Again, check that video down below in the description box. Much more detailed. There's also a website, all that stuff. There's products, all that stuff. If you want to check it out, please feel free. If this is your first time here, welcome. Thank you for clicking on this video. Don't be afraid to subscribe. There's a couple hundred videos here. There's 415 or 420 videos over at papastachepop. There's all sorts of pop and country and all that stuff, so check that out. And if you're digging what you see, share it with your friends, spread it to the world. My goal is a giant guitar playing world, or just music playing world, where we all get along and we drop songs on each other. So you guys are amazing. Again, thank you. Big hug for all the support. Thanks for checking in once again. Papastache 102. Catch you next time.